Hello and welcome to the loading screen, episode 20. Well, it's more like the loading iceberg edition of the loading screen. My name is Kadex Gaming, Twitch stream dedicated helping you in game and in life.
Hello and welcome to the.
I had a little reverb. Yep, technical difficulties already. We do have Monsterous Rage and Angry Iceberg as usual, but this is our 20th episode, so it's going to be kind of a special episode. It is all Destiny tonight. So Angry Iceberg is a big smiley face, and Monsterous Rage is crying in a corner somewhere, hiding behind the mask of Fortress Man. And yes, he is using face rig, ladies and gentlemen, and he has lost a few pounds. So
sexy now, people. I'm sexy. I'm good looking.
You look like Jason Statham got stung by a million bees. But tonight we are going to be mentioning Destiny PvP, PvE, some of the new things that are coming, some of the things that we want to see coming, and all of it. So let's go ahead and talk about Destiny 2 and how the story can be more streamlined. Do you think we're going to see Grimoire cards like we do now and kind of have a segmented story, or do you think that lore is going to be pushed into the game a bit more? Angry Iceberg, take it away.
Well, I think that they need to do a better job of portraying the story of the game inside the game. How they're going to do that, I'm not really sure. And I guess one of my problems is that, of course, I've been playing the Destiny the way it is now for the past, year and a half. And by the time Destiny 2 comes out, it'll be almost 2.5 years. Or around probably more than 2.5 years. I'll be playing the original Destiny. And so how they're going to implement the story into it, into the Destiny 2, I'm not really sure. I mean, just because my mind is so skewed towards the way it is now.
Yeah.
I think they did a better job with the Taken King than they did the vanilla Destiny story. I think it was definitely more understandable. So you definitely had a specific goal that you were moving toward. I mean, like the end, you didn't really know who you were fighting in the original Destiny storyline until you kind of got to him, So I think that they've definitely made an effort on bringing in new writers, talented writers to the fold. So I think that they'll do something as far as whether it be based around Grimoire. I don't know, man. Like, it's just too hard for me to wrap my mind around anything other than what it is now. But I definitely hope that they do something better, because that was one of the big complaints about year one, is the story just wasn't well implemented. I think they do need to build on what they did in King's Fall, and I think they know that. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The one thing about Destiny, though, is that the lore is deep and it is rich. I mean, it is an interesting lore. There's definitely a lot of stuff to pull from, from what the universe they've created is vast. And so there's certainly a lot to pull from and a lot of different ways they could go with it. But how they're going to introduce it into, your PvE aspects of it, even your PvP, man, they could even go some way with that, with factions and whatnot. But, I don't even know, man. Like my mind is so enthralled into, or my mind is so I'm so in deep with what it is now. It's hard for me to even think about anything else.
Right. If they do kind of implement more story elements into the game itself, I could see that actually slowing down the game. Because you see that with a lot of MMOs. You see like quest bars and quest menus and whatnot, and they give you 2 paragraphs to read before you go on a quest. And that's how they implement the story into the game. And with cutscenes, it's going to be even longer, because you have these, 45-second or a minute cutscenes for a few quests here and there. That time adds up. You're spending about an hour watching cutscenes if you're doing enough quests. So it needs to be a balance between the two, where you may have like a logbook of like your story so far, and just kind of fills up as you go along, so you can kind of read it there, and it's available in game. That would be a good way to go. Or possibly just have like a big, 10-15 minute cinematic whenever you first boot up Destiny 2. Be like, this is what's happened between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and now you have this overwhelming evil above you, and this is what you're doing, this is why your lights reset, and kind of explain everything. And I think that would go a long way in helping the player be like, okay, now I know from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, while it's a different game, they are connected in, X, Y, and Z fashion, and I understand it. I believe in Destiny 1 during vanilla, we didn't understand exactly what we were doing there. We knew it was a first-person shooter with quests, and we got to shoot stuff and, kill Crota and do Vogue and whatnot, but we didn't really understand why. I think like maybe a beginning cinematic and then maybe like a quest log, like a hero log or something like that, where you can just kind of read it from time to time, be like, oh, I did that quest and now this happened in the world and whatnot, and see the kind of effects and change that you can change the story by. I think that'd be actually a good way to go.
Yeah, well, I think that one of the problems was just that they cut so much. I mean, I guess the popular theory is they cut out a lot of what they originally planned for the game, and whether it was Activision or creative decisions by Bungie that they created what we have now in the original Destiny. When they originally advertised Destiny at E3, it seemed like a much broader, more grand story. You're supposed to, create your destiny or, live your destiny or whatever, and I really do think that there was a lot cut out. I mean, there's rumors that the Traveler was supposed to be the end boss at the very end, that was the enemy in the end. There's so much. I mean, we saw cinematics for the Queen's brother, that, confronting you. There was, all this other stuff that we saw, but we never saw it make it to the game. And there was rumors that the the whole King's Fall storyline was supposed to ship with the original game, but Activision, delayed it and wanted to segment it off to make money and this and that. There's so many different rumors, there's so many conspiracy theories. It's really hard to know unless you actually work at Bungie or involved with the project. What actually happened. But I definitely think that, what they did release was, not what we were expecting, wasn't this grand, story that we were expecting. Right. But I think that they can still do it the way they did it, and really what it comes down to is just like any other first-person shooter story, it just has to make sense.
Yeah.
You
got to plus 1 plus 1 equals 2.
It has to bring us on a story arc, character development. Because Destiny does not lack from great characters. Right. I mean, the Queen, everybody's enthralled with the Queen. The Stranger, what the fuck is this? What happened to the Stranger? Cade, Eris Morn, yes. I mean, even, like the Queen's brother, I'm super interested in that character. I was immediately, I thought he was a great character, and he is a great character. So they definitely have great characters to build around, but they need to make sure that the story, even at the very end, the end boss where you're killing the Vex heart thing, gooey blob, whatever you want to call it. I think what they need to do is really gear the story to lead into maybe even the raid, which they kind of did with King's Fall. They definitely did with the King's Fall, but I think that the story arc should climax with the raid. I think that as far as for PvE, because that's the ultimate, that's the pinnacle of PvE. Now, PvP is its own thing on the side. Just like Call of Duty, the Call of Duty PvP has nothing really to do with the PvE. Right. You take the mechanics from it, whatever, but I think PvP could be involved somewhat in the story. It could have its own story. Yeah. You could have, like I say, you could have faction battles, you can have all this other stuff, but we can get into that, later. But there's just so much potential there. There's so much missed potential, and I hope that they've learned a lot over the last couple years. Obviously, they're already working on Destiny 2 and that story and bringing that together because they have the writers in now. And so I guess we just have to wait till next year to find out.
Can I say one thing is that I would love it if they were able to implement two things. One, have some sort of card game to get those Grimoire cards out there so you don't have to go searching online for it. Have it implemented in the game somewhere. I don't care if you have to do it at a tower scenario or what, but forcing people to go somewhere else to learn more about the game. Like as a casual gamer, I never did that. I didn't look at the stuff. I had to go to some other place to get information on a game I'm playing. No, I'll just keep.
Well,
keep
I've played this game. I mean, I played this game from day one. I maybe read one Grimoire card.
Okay, so same thing. Like if they want to have that lore out there, put it somewhere in the game, and it could be a simple card game where you have other players come in and just play with each other. But the other thing that I would love to see is we always get these big ships that we see floating. Why can't we have travel there? Why can't we manually travel from planet to planet? I think that's a missed opportunity with it because, this is supposed to be this space opera situation, but we're not really doing anything in space. We're always on planets. So I really think that would be something that would be, as a casual gamer, that would draw my interest a lot more if I had little things like that added to the game, as well as the maps themselves. They're very linear, and I think that if they maybe set them off where certain areas that you would go to would activate PvP events, certain areas you go to would activate raids, other areas would go to strikes, but it's one big open map that you would explore through. I'm bringing this up because I want your thoughts, Angry, as a Destiny like guru. I want to say guru. Would that be something that would interest you or somebody?
I think you're hitting on a lot of good points, and I think that would add a lot. I mean, as far as making the Grimoire a game, I don't know about that. It'd be nice to be able to just even go up to a kiosk and just be able to pull it up right in game and read it there. I think that would be adequate. And I mean, I'm all for having card games in Destiny, believe me. But as far as space, being able to pilot your ship and actually control that, I think that should be added. The one thing we have to remember is that I have to believe that what we received, the game that we received, was limited by last generation.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
I
agree with that,
yeah, Bungie has admitted that with just something as simple as the storage for our weapons.
Yeah.
I think I would hope
they have to do the coding for the 360, so that's a lot of their team that has to go somewhere else and work on another platform. Sure. So it's a lot of attention diverted from the current gen stuff.
Yeah, so the prevailing theory is that they're going to ditch last gen with Destiny 2, that there won't be a Xbox 360 or PS3 Destiny 2, which I'm perfectly fine with. I mean, there's going to be people upset with it, but, hey, I'm sorry. You need to, move on with the times.
Wii U.
Yeah, it's been time, though. We've got the new consoles out for, almost 3 years now. It's time to make the jump. Yeah. If you're going to make the jump, it's time to do it.
It needs to happen. And that's the key, is that we'll see what they can do. The consoles have been out long enough that they should have learned some tricks to harness the power of these new consoles. So we'll find out what happens. And I mean, even... you got your networks are better. I know, Microsoft. I'm still waiting for a game to truly take advantage of the Microsoft, Azure cloud as they originally advertised it. Unfortunately, Destiny probably won't be that game, just simply because they have to worry about PlayStation. But there's just so much more opportunity with the next gen, and they should be able to do more when they don't have to worry about porting it over to last gen.
Now, do you actually think map size will actually get bigger, or do you think they will just add more locations?
I would say that they would probably add more locations. I think the maps are pretty big as they are. Mm-hmm. I've never had a problem with how big the maps are. I'd say that they would probably add more locations within the same planet. I mean, there was originally footage of what they said was Chicago. Was supposed to be one of the locations on Earth. There's plenty of locations on Earth that they could explore, some different environments, whether it be Arctic or more jungle-like. And of course, you kind of see that with Venus and Mars and whatnot. But I mean, they could do more with Phobos, even if they wanted to. They could go. I mean, there's a lot of people who think that would be traveling outside the galaxy. There's going to be there has to be other enemies, so there's definitely, there's definitely opportunities, I think, but locations are definitely going to be one of them. I highly doubt that the only place we're going to visit on Earth is the Cosmodrome in Russia. I mean, I think there's just too many opportunities on Earth. It's just Earth alone.
Yeah.
I think maybe we might even see some activity down in the city.
That'd be good to do.
So there's just so much potential.
Yeah, I'd actually like to see a Venus level as like a PvP planet, and have like a dedicated PvP arena be an entire planet where you have missions to do there, but it's all PvP. So if you're doing a mission, somebody wants to kill you, they can. I think that actually might be something fun where you have missions like you have to protect so-and-so, or you have to get an item from one area to another without getting killed. That actually might be a fun aspect of the game right there. Just have an entire PvP planet. And then maybe even have a raid planet where you have all your raids right there. And
sure.
Once you're done with the campaign and all your PvE stuff, you travel to that planet. You can link up with other Guardians and whatnot to do the raid right there, because you can talk to them in game chat before you head into a raid. And
that's another thing that's a must.
Yeah.
You need to be able to drop gear off at any planet, not have to go back to the tower.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really have to now, as long as you have the app. I mean, it's not in game. But most people.
Yeah.
Well, you have your phone or just the computer. That's generally what most people use now. They have the Destiny item manager, which is not Bungie proprietary. But if you use the Bungie website, you can actually kind of do something very similar. That's what I use. So there's you don't necessarily have to go to the tower to do any of that stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to go back to turn in bounties. The only time you have to really go there is to pick up bounties and stuff like that. Sometimes it's easier to do it in the tower. But I agree. I mean, there should be more options, and I think you'll see that. More social spaces instead of. Here's the thing: is like there's really no reason to go to the reef anymore. There's no reason to do some of the
unless you do trials.
Well, yeah, unless you do trials, that's the one exception. Or if you're doing older, some of the older content, and there are some Queen's Bounty, stuff like that. But they need to, and I guess I think I'm kind of getting ahead of us. But yeah, that's definitely something they could do. You should be able to just be in your ship and be able to transfer stuff around. One thing that made me mad, one thing I was thinking about the other day, you should be able to, when you spawn in, if you fly from orbit, you should spawn in with full ammo.
Yeah.
Not in PvP, but in PvE. Yeah. It's just I keep on thinking about Metroid. Like Metroid and Super Metroid, you just go back to your ship. You could completely, recharge or whatever.
Walk out, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
Wouldn't you have ammo in your ship if you're traveling all around the universe?
You'd think so. You'd have something there with you, especially if you just came from the tower. You think you'd equip up, before you go, not go somewhere ill-equipped, but that is what it is.
The shipwright's slacking off, apparently. Not stocking your ship with some ammo and whatnot. Now,
you like the challenge.
Yeah. It's just like, yay, here you go. No special ammo and half your primary.
Right.
God, it's annoying. It really is. Especially when you're doing a patrol or you're farming for spent metal or whatnot. It kind of gets annoying. You have to use synthesis. That costs more than the stuff that you're farming for.
Yeah.
All right, 330 light. There has been images released that show weapons and armories and whatnot with 330 light.
Sure.
And I'm going to talk about this in a kind of a matter-of-fact way and then an opinion-based way. Now, we know we're getting a significant light increase. What I'm wanting to know is this the significant light increase that they're talking about, or is it going to be a little bit further? And if it is going to be further, will that warrant a new raid? Or if it's going to stay at 330, do you think we're going to have more challenges for the raid we currently have? Iceberg, take it away.
So so here's the thing, is that we were talking about this a little bit on my stream today. If they're showing images of weapons at 330 light, I think those are just going to be your base drops, just like 310 is now. I don't think that 330. I mean, if it's especially if it's exotics, that's just it doesn't conform to how they're doing now unless they decide to change it. I would say that that's in this course. This is just a theory. I could be completely wrong, but when they say significant, these are their words, significant.
Yeah.
10 light is not significant to me.
No.
10 light is not significant. I'm gonna guess.
Minimum.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess somewhere between. I think my guess is gonna be the light level is gonna be 350.
Well, if they're saying
but
330,
as much as 400.
Yeah, if they're saying 330 and you're saying these are like base guns, then if you're saying 310 is going to bring you up to 330 or 320, then yeah, it's realistic to think that 350 is probably going to be the new light level.
Now, do you see with that 30 light level increase, if it is 350, that we will see an extra raid or something along those lines, maybe a harder strike or something along those lines in order to use that light?
Well, I think the simple answer, and again, not knowing, but I think the simple answer would be something as simple as them raising or creating higher level end game activities, meaning like the Volta Glass, Crota's End, the Prison of Elders, bringing them up to King's Fall levels, make them relevant again, and that's where you're getting, potentially getting these drops, or even introducing a third tier to the King's Fall raid. I hope it's bringing back the old raids and making them relevant again, because I don't see any point in not doing it. I think it's an easy fix. It's going to be a lot of content for people to play through each week, trying to, because the whole draw of Destiny is that chase for that top level, that top light level. Mm-hmm. That's what it's always been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
No. Go ahead. What you were saying.
Now, if they do that and they increase the light level for all the older raids, Ball of Glass, Crota, and whatnot, now do you see them uplifting all of the year 1 exotics to year 2? Will we see a year 2 Thorn? Will we see year 2 Lightbringer? Will we see all those year 1 exotics just go ahead and transfer over, since we would get those kind of weapons from those old raids anyway?
I would say that no, we're not going to see it. We're definitely not going to see a year 2 Thorn. I can tell you that right now. I would be very surprised if we saw like anything like our. I don't think we'll see our like a icebreaker back. I don't think we're going to see a lot. Icebreaker. I mean, we'll see some of the exotics maybe come back. Some things that like people don't really care about. I mean, kind of like what they did already. You're not going to see your Gallarhorn or Gallarhorn, however that be on say.
Gallarhorn.
I know. I always say Gallarhorn. I don't care what anybody says. It's Yaller.
It's
Gallarhorn. Gallarhorn. Yeah. Anyway, the point is that we're not going to see some of these. What we may see is some year 2 versions of your legendary weapons from like Vault of Glass and Crota's End brought to year 2. Without as far as your primaries, brought to year 2 without the burns attached to them. Mm-hmm. So your year 2 Fatebringer, your year 2, Praetor's Revenge, Praetor's Timepiece, Atheon's Epilogue, these things. Yeah. But the only one that anybody really care about would be your Fatebringer and your Vision of Confluence, probably. Because those perks are actually usable, but I mean without their burns, especially without the Vision of Confluence's burn, it's not as usable. Sure. As far as the Crota's End weapons, I think the Crota's End weapons are a little bit more useful, because you have like the shotgun is really good for a number of different things. It's a void shotguns, it's good. Your Hunger of Crota is a good rocket launcher, just on its own, because it's got tracking, it's got cluster bombs. It's good. I don't think, we might see a black spin or a black hammer, but I don't see the point in that now that we got the black spindles, kind of, whatever. Some people have talked about making some of those perhaps exotic drops instead of legendary drops, which would save, some of that. But I still don't see them adding the burns to them. Mm-hmm. so, that's really as far as the old weapons. That's kind of what I could see them doing. And this is just if they bring, level, year one PvE, like end game, PvE content to year 2.
Right.
That's just an if. And again, I've been saying this would be an easy fix for them. I mean, how hard really would it be for them to do that, just to up the light level? But at the same time, what I'd really like to see too is new, either 3v3 or 6v6, preferably 6v6 end game content. Maybe, obviously a raid may be asking too much, but I do expect that. And I'm talking about the spring, but in the fall, I do expect a full 6v6 new raid. That has got to happen. If it doesn't happen, it would be a huge mistake, and I fully expect that. For the spring content drop, I don't see that. I would see, like I said, I think the easy fix for them would be to bring year 2 content or year 1 content to year 2.
Yeah, I would definitely see year 1 content up to year 2. One problem I do have with the Crota's raid coming to year 2 was people already know how to cheese Crota's End. They already know how to, run the lights. They already know how to sword over pretty much the entire bridge. Do you really see them maybe even implementing fixes where you have like invisible barriers where you can't do that anymore? Or do you see them just kind of letting it run?
Well, I would say that they could always add some new wrinkles. I mean, some new challenges that we don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
If they figured out a way again to add invisible walls so you can't jump up on the tower, glitch out of the map to the tower. Maybe add some extra enemies. Maybe even make it taken.
That's true.
Make it taken the whole time. So it could be one of those things where what if Crota comes back and he's taken? Now he's just fucking warping around the map. Because that's kind of what he did before anyway. Like when we were first playing, it was all glitchy and laggy anyway. So, it could be just where they, add Taken to the mix to the old raids.
Right.
And, so another thing they could do too is add, obviously I think they're going to add more strikes, maybe 1 or 2 more strikes, maybe a third one just for exclusive to the PS4 because they have to, keep that contract happy, I guess. But, it may be just as simple as adding Taken instead of regular enemies. Can you imagine those freaking warping around thralls and freaking acolytes in the lamps area?
No, God no. The cursed thrall
or the knights instead of having the knives or having the knights in the lamps instead of having these swords, they have the freaking where they shoot out the fire and it burns you to death.
God no, that would hurt so bad.
How about ogres?
Yeah, there hasn't been really much to do with like taking ogres. Ogres always just kind of been ogres. They're pretty much the same thing. But you never know, man. Because those ogres, I don't know. You might have Golgor, like a whole bunch of Golgoroths popping up in the lamps. This is just for the lamps.
Yeah.
Teleporting ogres with giant laser beams.
Imagine they completely redo the Kingsfall raid and you have all 3 raid bosses from Crota, Vogue, and Kingsfall in one raid.
No, I don't see that happeing.
It's possible. I think, you have the mechanics.
It's possible. It's possible. But how would you? Because the whole thing would be, how are you going to do a Taken Atheon? Because his whole thing is he moved you through time. I don't know. Anything's possible, but I don't really see that. The
story doesn't matter yet. We're still in Destiny 1. Remember?
But we can agree that there's probably going to have some sort of content there, something to kind of relate to Destiny 2 now that they've got a title for it, and obviously they've got writers going crazy right now making that. So there might be a hint in that with the new content coming out. But yeah, it's going to be gear, weapons, and the one good thing is that you're not going to be at max level already. You're going to have to level up your character again. So it's going to give a fresh feel for people that are already at endgame and have nothing else to do.
And people already at 320 are about to get burned.
Well, and it also could be. Maybe they're going to bring us, more than we expected. And again, I'm really, you have to remember that the fall content drop is supposed to be much more substantial, much closer to the King's Fall. So I think a lot of our story elements will be more in that. Maybe we'll have a search for the Queen something to that effect, or maybe we'll see a revisit from the Stranger. Maybe there'll be some, who knows what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have. It's hard for me to believe that we're going to have a whole lot of story elements in the spring drop.
No.
There's going to be, I think, a lot of what we're going to see. We're going to see. Well, we're going to see a new strike or two. Mm-hmm. I think we might even see maybe a PvE map or two. I think we're going to see a lot of quests.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot of that in type content. And again, maybe a third tier to the Kingsfall raid, and or bringing year one raids to year 2.
And we'll definitely see some kind of event base. We'll see probably the return of SRL, because it was it was popular.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll
definitely
see something like that, or they'll release a time frame for SRL.
Yeah, I can't see them not. I mean, I think that we'll see it as just a rotation. Like you'll have your Iron Banner 1 week, 2 weeks later you'll have SRL for a week, and then you'll have just that lull in between. Where you have 1 week where you don't have either one, and then So does it mean? Because I definitely think that we'll see SRL back. I don't see them not bringing SRL back in the spring content update.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to come back. I mean, it just has to.
Yeah, it was a fun time for a while.
It will.
It was a refreshing break from Destiny while still playing Destiny.
It brought casual gamers in. It really did. It brought casual gamers back to Destiny, because I was away. Well, you guys know I was away from Destiny for months. And that's what brought me back. That's what got me back into playing Destiny again. So, yeah, they need to do that to keep people coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't need to have it like every other or every month, because it would be watered down and whatnot. But, this lull between the SRL times is actually good, because it's actually wanting people to go ahead and see it again.
Well, I would say that every month is fine. I think that, if you look at the way that Iron Banner is, people look forward to playing Iron Banner, even if they're doing it while they're doing it. They're just kind of like, oh, all right, I'm done with this. I think 1 week, a month is perfectly fine. I think it gives us something to look forward to, for that month. I think that doing it too far apart is a mistake.
Right.
But I definitely think that I think SRL needs to come back, because I think SRL was really well done. I think there's some tweaks that could be made to the physics a little bit, but I think I think they did a really great job on SRL, and for what it was, it felt like Wipeout just in Destiny, and I love that about it.
Yeah, Wipeout.
Wipeout was
Mario
a great
Kart.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything, Monsterous Rage?
No, it's been pretty much covered. I think anything I would say would be pretty pointless at this point.
Okay. Our next topic is PvP rewards and how it can be overhauled. A lot of people are kind of upset that they could be top of the ring on PvP boards, and then the bottom guy gets all the good loot, or your middle guy gets all the loot, but your top tier guys, the guys that are getting those 23, 24 kills and 2 deaths, aren't getting really much at all. It's kind of like an RNG. Whoever pops gets the good stuff. Now, I'm talking about gear itself and how it drops. Can it be overhauled? Should it be overhauled? And if it should be overhauled, what can we do in order to fix that? Take it away.
All right, so PvP rewards is kind of one of those tricky subjects, because, all right, so if all you had if you had it just so skewed towards performance-based rewards, all it would be is the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. So I definitely think there should be some overhaul to it. I've seen, like, I had a buddy of mine who he didn't have a Gallahorn, and he got his first Gallahorn from a match where he literally set his controller down, went off and did something else that came up. He came back just in time for the match to end. He didn't get one single kill. In fact, he probably died 20 times, and he got a Gallahorn.
Wow.
But of course, this was year 1. But the point is, there needs to be something there, whether it be the higher you up on okay, so maybe they have an equal chance for loot to drop no matter what spot you're in, but your place, in the game actually determines what like light level you get, or maybe what perk pool you draw from.
Right. Or the chance of exotic goes up the higher you're up, and then you can get legendaries and blues wherever you're at.
For sure. Well, I mean, I don't think you'll see legendaries dropping in. I mean, with the current system with 3 of coins, I think that 3 of coins, you should have a better chance the higher you get to actually for your 3 of coins to actually give you an exotic. I think that'd be a good thing, and I think that'd be a simple, reward system.
That would be a simple fix.
Yeah, but I think that, but I think as far as like your legendary drops that come from PvP. That maybe just something as simple as the better you do, the higher light level the weapon, that if you do receive it, that's what you get. And that way, because even the lower level guys, I mean, they can still infuse stuff into it. I mean, they still play PvE. I mean, if you're not good at PvP, chances are you're probably okay at PvE. There's still ways to improve those weapons, but again, if you're limiting it to straight performance-based rewards, you're gonna de-incentivize a lot of the lower or the less skilled players from actually going into PvP, because they know they're not going to get anything out of it, and they're not going to be able to improve, their play, because they're getting outgunned by the guys that played all the time and are good already.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Having a higher chance to get, something rare or exotic or whatnot if you are at the top of the board. I'm not talking about 3 coins. I know you can just pop 3 coins, and then no matter what happens on a match, you always have that chance for an exotic drop. I think actually they might want to take that away. I think that might be kind of a broken system, because it drops a lot more in PvP than anything else now. That may be their way of getting players engaged in PvP. Oh, I just bought my 3 coins. Let me go throw down some PvP for an hour and see if I get an exotic.
Well, I know we were doing strikes, and 3 of coins were being used, and we were getting exotics.
Well, yeah, you can use them in strikes, you can use them in the raid, and you can use them in PvP, but you're going through PvP so much that you can go.
Well, you have to remember that there's the way that 3 coins work is it's all kind of time based. So, I mean, because when 3 coins first was released with Kingsfall, what all people would do was there was a certain mission that had an ultra, and they would kill him, use their 3 coins, kill him, and then kill themselves before the mission technically ended, which would respawn them. I mean, it would still drop the exotic if they were awarded an exotic. And they would just respawn and do it over again, and just rinse and repeat. And so they were able to get exotics much faster. And back then, it was about every 5 or so. It was about an average of about every 5 3 coins dropped an exotic, which it still kind of is. But now you have to space them out.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you use a 3 coins at the beginning of a PvP match, you're still probably going to have to wait. Like, you'll probably drop one every other PvP match. So you're still talking about at least 20 minutes before, you have a full chance of, of that 3 of coins working. So I honestly, I think that, I don't know. I don't think that that's really that much of an issue. And really your exotics aren't your true PvP weapons. I mean, there's a few. There's your primaries. But as far as, and then there's maybe like the truth. But there's not a whole lot of exotic weapons that are specifically relevant in PvP. So it's really not that much of an issue from that standpoint.
Yeah. I see why they put it for PvP, because originally it wasn't for PvP. I think originally it was just for killing ultras, and shielded mages, I believe, qualified as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know ultras counted. And then PvP was added, I think, a week or 2 after 3 coins was launched, where people using it in PvP and realizing, hey, I can get exhaust from this as well. And then everybody started using it. I don't mind that you can use 3 coins for PvP, but maybe have something like PvP rewards, where say if you have a bounty, kill 3 people in PvP, and you turn that bounty in, you can get a PvP specific 3 of coins type, where you can turn that in before a match and then get your chance for a legendary or exotic, or increase your chances of getting a 1. What would you think about that, Iceberg?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's. I mean, there's so many different
things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just. I mean, I think the way that 3 coins works now is fine. I really don't see a problem with it.
Okay.
You know, but here's my thing: is I really don't see 3 coins being a thing in Destiny 2, and it might not even. Well, I have a hard time seeing them taking it out in. You know, in. Well, no, man. I honestly, I would not be surprised if 3 coins were not a thing in quote unquote year 3 when the fall content drops. So, I mean, they constantly are changing how, you know, how we're upgrading our stuff. I mean, just look at year 1 from vanilla Destiny up to House of Wolves when they introduced Etheric Light.
Yeah.
You know,
we just got able to infuse weapons with
right.
King's Fall.
There was reforging. Now we don't have reforging. I mean, we still have reforging for year 1 weapons, but we don't have reforging in year 2 or in year 2 anymore. So, I mean, it's really. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's possible that 3 of coins could become irrelevant in future, you know, future content, even as soon as the fall when whatever the, you know, DLC that was released in the fall comes out, it might just become completely irrelevant for year 3.
You're probably right, because they do like to keep people on their toes. That's actually one thing they're really good at, because as soon as you become complacent with something, they change it. We've already talked about looking forward to new substantial content in Destiny and what it could be. This is kind of like a theory-based discussion. What kind of raid do you think we would get if we do get the raid in the fall? Do you think we're getting Vex? Do you think we're getting Cabal? Where do you think it's going to take place? Just kind of spitballing maybe a few theories here and there. We can go around the room on it.
I think they're definitely going to go back to some of the stuff with the Queen, because there's a lot of stuff that wasn't covered with that. So, as Angry said earlier, you were talking about a lot of stuff was cut out, you know, with the Traveler and all that sort of stuff was supposed to be endgame. So maybe they'll draw from some of that material, because they've already got it in the vault. They just have to draw from it and make it something. So, you know, something along that line, something along the lines of the Queen or the Queen's son coming out. I see that as being something in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting, is having something with the Awoken. I mean that's completely coming out of, you know, right field, right?
Yeah.
Something to do with the Awoken. That'd be really interesting. But I think the prevailing theory is going to be Cabal.
With
you
the
know,
big armor and the big weapons, and just kind of go out on a bang with it.
Well, it's, you know, and it would be a different style of raid, because I think it'd be more of a technological raid rather than a mystical raid or a magic raid, because you don't really see with the Cabal. You see just more brute force, big weapons, you know, big armor, bullet sponges. And I think that if they were to go that way, it would be, like I said, it wouldn't be some magical thing where you're teleported off. It might be that you're raiding a base. Maybe you're, you know, because we already talked. There was actually a mission. There was actually a mission in the story, or it wasn't even a mission in the story. It was actually, I think, on a side quest from the Taken King that talked about how they alerted the homeworld that there was a message from the Emperor or whatever of the Cabal, and maybe it's another, you know, ship raid, or maybe it's even on Phobos. Maybe there's a base on Phobos, or even Mars, or somewhere. I think it'd be more of just a direct, you know, brute force, you know, guns blazing. You know, how do you hack into their system and do different things? You know, it's hard to say.
Go to an end with the bang.
Yeah. The one thing I'm actually kind of concerned about is we're supposed to be getting Destiny 2017. We're supposed to get Destiny 2. What if they release the raid a little too late? What if people are still wanting to play that raid and then Destiny 2 comes out and then just completely cuts it off?
Not a possibility, man. No, look. All right, so that's not even a concern because look, we're just into February and everybody's already clamoring for something else. But I mean, if they, I mean, I fully expect that the fall fall DLC will drop in September or in that time frame. So that's kind of what the target is. And Destiny 2, I'm thinking is probably going to drop right around this time to like April, May. Okay, so at that point, so in 2017. So at that point, people are going to be looking for something, man. I mean, people were already ready for something else. Well, okay, look at year one. We already had our first DLC in what, November or December, whatever it was.
It was
that was
2 months
quick.
after game launch.
Yeah, it was so quick. So people are going to move on from it so quickly because people in Destiny, they don't just slow. It's not a slow burn. No. Destiny is not a slow burn with people. It is get in there, get through it as fast as you can. Mm-hmm. People binge Destiny.
Yeah.
But then again, again, what I talked about before is that the real draw to Destiny for a lot of people is that chase for the max light level, and for at the beginning, it was Forever 29 trying to get to level 30 in the Vault of Glass. That was what people wanted. People were chasing those weapons. They were chasing the Gallahorn. They were chasing the Fatebringer. They were chasing this weapon and that weapon. That's what Destiny. That is what the draw to Destiny is just that goal, that carrot on the stick. Oh, I have to have that weapon. And that's what people who continue to come back for it, that's why they come back, is because they haven't. I mean, that's why I played Destiny as long as I did, because damn it, I wanted that Gallahorn.
Yeah.
I didn't get it until Prison of Elders. And then there was a whole other slew of carrots on the stick for me to chase. I needed to level up all my weapons with etheric light at that point. I had to get all the etheric light so I can level up the weapons. And then by the time that kind of burned out, King's Fall came around, and now I have to get to max light level, which is 320, which I'm only on one of my characters because of RNG.
Yeah.
So I'm close on other characters, but I'm still not there, and I'm going to keep trying until I get there. So I mean, that's the whole carrot on the stick. So that's what's going to keep people playing up until Destiny 2, but there's still going to be people that are going to drop off and say that there's a lull and that there's nothing to play, that aren't really worried about chasing that carrot on the stick. I don't think that.
Sorry, I think that is exactly the draw of Destiny, though. I mean, you hit that right on the head of the nail, because I mean, people like me, people that are casual gamers, are going to come back to Destiny not because of something that's just recently happened, but because I haven't played Destiny for a while, I'm going to jump back in. But for people that are dedicated to it, I think the way they've got it set up where it is that random drop, there isn't a certain set parameter for you to get that item. You just got to slug through it. And I think that needs to stay the same. I don't think they should change that, because then they'll change the dynamic of that game and lose their audience.
Yeah, I think they'll lose the hardcore players because, we love to burn through content. We really do.
Yeah.
Especially Destiny players. I mean, we were given no story, and we're not really griping about the story at this point. We just want more content. We want more raids, more strikes, more PvP, and more events. That's all we want. We don't need more story. We've already resigned ourselves to that. We just want more stuff to do, and so we can burn through that as well.
Yeah, and that was one of the great things that, like, in the early, when people found out, people were trying to figure out, okay, how do I get No Time to Explain, the gun No Time to Explain, or how do I get the that exotic heavy fusion rifle, or whatever the hell. I can't. I can fucking blanket on it. People in chat will know what it is.
C?
No. It's anyway, people in chat will say it. I guarantee you, like, as soon as they hear it, be like, it's this thing. Anyway, the point is that people are like, how do I get this weapon? Well, then they figured out how to get it. Now they're chasing sleeper simulant. There you go.
There we go. Sleeper.
Told you. As soon as they heard it, they would
it.
know. Yeah, the sleeper simulant.
Sweeper. Yep.
So I mean, like, I think that was smart. The way they did that is that they put it on a quest line to get those weapons, and I think you're going to see a lot of that coming up here in the spring. Is a lot of those opening up and those special events, those secret events that you kind of have to find, and that they're not going to tell you about. They're just going to be like, okay, we're gonna launch it and let people kind of discover it, or they might hint towards it by creating an event. Like, they didn't tell us, like, for the Black Spindle mission, they didn't tell us, what was going on. They were just like, okay, here's the daily. Oh wait, there's a timer there. What's up with that? I don't know. You guys can go find out. All right.
Yeah, it only took.
But people found out right away. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, people found out within a few hours of.
It was quick, and yeah, people. I mean, it just blows me away how people found all the freaking fragments. I mean, there's some fragments. There's some fragments in some really crazy places. Even the ghosts. There's a ghost. It's in the Crota's End, but I mean, you can get it from. There's a mission or two there's a mission you can get it from. But there's a ghost that is so well hidden that, I mean, I would have never found it unless somebody showed it to me. I don't know how anybody found that fucker.
Or the one underneath the one King's Fall mission where you have to go underneath the bridge and in that little alcove, using your ghost to light up the path and whatnot.
Yeah, well, that one I could see. I mean, that's one thing people are going to explore, but this one is just like you can't even see. This is where you're going from. You cross the bridge from the lamps, and you're going on to the second part of Crota's End. That little part where it gets super bright.
Yeah.
And you can't see jack shit. You have to, like, I don't know. You can. I don't know how they found that. I mean, somebody showed it to me. I mean, people were telling me where it was, and I had a hard time getting to it.
Dang.
So I mean, it's like, I don't know. People are freaking weird. That's all I know. I mean, they find this stuff.
They want to be that one that discovered it. They want to be the one that posted up on the forums first. Hey, I found this ghost to this, out in the boonies location where you have to do 15 jumping jacks and eat 3 po' boys in order to get it.
Well, here's a perfect example. Is that after the Crota's End raid came out, this was before, or not Crota's End, but King's Fall, before the hard mode was released, somebody discovered a hidden room kind of off that it's really hard to get to, and it's just kind of off the beaten path, and it's really like I said, it's you have to get there in an off the wall sort of way, but somebody found it. And so what did people do? People literally worked on it for hours, like a whole weekend. People tried to figure out what was the secret of this room. I mean, what was it going to unlock? How do you unlock, the mysteries of this room? And people had so many different theories. But I mean, literally, people would stay up all night trying to figure this out. And then eventually, Bungie was like, yeah, about that, guys. Yeah, that's what we call the Oryx's basketball court, and we just thought it was a fun little thing we'd put in there. There's really nothing to find there.
Oh, the troll.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought that was funny. I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, literally, people spent literally the whole weekend trying to figure this out before Bungie finally came out and told everybody about it.
Man, I bet the salt was so real for all those people spending an entire weekend trying to find out what the heck was in there.
Oh, man. Yes.
Oh, man. This is my first time actually hearing about this. So
there was a lot of top streamers that did it, too. I mean, I know King Gathalion was working on it himself.
Oh, was
he? There was a lot of... Yeah, he was one of them, and there was a lot of top streamers that were working on it, trying to figure out the secret and just spending hours just on a futile effort to find the secret of the room.
To find nothing but DJ's toilet paper, and that's all you find.
I know. It's like, well, what if we do it in this order? If we don't touch the floors, or if one person's down to the checkpoint and they come back and this and that, and I'm just like, because I mean, it looks like there should be something there. I mean, it really does. But yeah, there was. I mean, according to Bungie, there was nothing. It was just a fun little thing.
Just think of the frustration that whole weekend long. Where is it? What do I do? Oh, by the way,
dude, I would have blown a gasket if I had fallen into that trap. But I'm just like, nope, I'll let somebody else figure it out. And that's one of the reasons why I have never tried to do the raid like day one. And I'll probably will, and then when the next raid is released, I'll give it a shot. But and that's mainly just because I'm a streamer now. But but yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine that frustration.
All right, our last topic of the day. It's not Destiny. No, trust me, it's Destiny. PvP. Now, with Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, there's always a need to kind of improve your skills in PvP and kind of get yourself more familiar with the maps and whatnot. So, is there any kind of tips and tricks that you would want to give people that are new to PvP about, how to be better at PvP, maybe what weapons work a little bit better than others, on what maps, or is it just kind of throw yourself in there and learn via fire?
Well, I think I should take on this topic because
he's a
I've
PvP
I've officially done my second PvP match today, so I feel like I might have a lot to contribute to this.
We're gonna back up. We're gonna mute our mics and give him a 20-minute spotlight.
This is all yours. I'm gonna
play the game more often. That's my advice. Play it more often. Play it more often. I got nothing, guys. I got nothing. I don't play PvP. I can't tell you guys. I can't tell you how to play better. I can't. Okay. So I'm going to pass it off. Go! Somebody help me. Okay,
so I mean, and really, Monsterous Rage, I mean, that's probably the first thing that you're going to tell somebody. Practice makes perfect. But the thing is, it's just like anything, you have to practice in the right way. If your goal is to become good at PvP, and I'm not saying that I'm good at PvP, I manage, okay? I do fairly well. I may even consider myself above average. But the point is that if you're serious about PvP, you have to be in there and you have to be doing it. You have to be, you have to learn the maps, okay? So somebody who knows the maps, is going to have an advantage over somebody who has good Twitch skill, especially in Destiny. Okay, if you know where they're coming from, it's really kind of a lot of thinking and a lot of thinking on the fly, and it's really just it becomes natural instinct at one point. But it's knowing the angles. There's a lot of angles in Destiny, and if you master those angles, and just those sight lines, you're going to have an advantage. There's a lot of mechanics that you can learn from, just from learning the weapons themselves, like what perks are better than others, because RNG plays a little bit of a role into it, but knowing, okay, why is this perk better than this perk on this weapon? Why is perfect balance better on pretty much everything? Because perfect balance is amazing. But the point is, why is this weapon, this sniper better than this sniper for trials? Why is impact so important on a sniper for trials? There's so many little things that you have to learn, and the only way you're going to learn that is by diving in. Playing is a big part of it, but also doing your research. One of the big things, though, one of the pieces of advice that I've heard now, and I'm not saying that I've ever done this because honestly I don't care, but what a lot of the top players do is they will record their sessions, and whether they're a streamer or not, but they'll record their sessions. They'll go back and watch and see where they made mistakes, so they won't make the same mistake twice.
Right.
Okay. So that means again that goes down to knowing the map, knowing when to retreat when you're at a disadvantage, not going out and trying to take on 2-3 guys at the same time, knowing when which player to engage first if you do know that you're going up against 2 people, but knowing which one to engage first versus the other, that gives you a slight advantage in the fight. And so there's a lot of little things that you have to learn if you want to be an elite PvP player. I've learned some of these things. One of my biggest things is one of my biggest drawbacks is I'll go in just guns a blazes, like, okay, well, there's 3 guys here. If I get that one guy, I'll be happy. So like there's a point where you realize that you're probably going to die, but make sure you get at least trade, get 1 for 1 out of that fight. But again, it's just about trying to know where they're coming from, know where they're going to be, anticipation, being able to make use of your radar. It's there and try to figure out, okay, where are they in relationship to you? Because like the radar is either bright red or kind of a duller red, depending on whether they're on the same plane as you or not. Knowing the map well enough to know whether they're, if it is a duller red, whether they're higher than you or lower than you, where you might be able to line up to catch them, and just there's so many different little things. As far as Destiny, and this really relates to a lot of different PvPs. But Destiny is a definitely unique animal, because I learned that when I tried to play Call of Duty 3 or Black Ops 3 on Sunday night. But yeah, there's a lot of little things to learn. But the big thing is just get out there, learn the maps, learn the weapons, how they handle, and then start worrying about some of the other little nuances of PvP.
Right.
Angry, would you like to be my meat shield while I learn the ways of PvP?
No.
No. Do that on your own time, sir.
Yeah.
Stay the hell away from me.
One of the biggest things for PvP, this also works in Black Ops 3 as well. When you're playing a regular PvP match, whether it's Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris, or, not really Trials, because you can't really respawn, like, continuously in Trials. But, watch where your enemies are on the map, but it's more important to watch where your friends are on the map. Because, say, if you all push on the other side of the map, guess what? The enemy's spawning behind you. That's a good thing to kind of realize. Kind of keep map management in mind. Kind of glare up there every couple of seconds to see where your teammates are. And, more importantly, where the enemies, if they're coming behind you or whatnot. Because if you're all on their spawn, well, they're spawning on yours. And they'll spawn in random locations if you're like all spread out. But if you guys are in a tight-knit unit, you can kind of guess where they're going to be spawning and just kind of have a rotating door. And that's actually a really good thing that I found in PvP, and I've learned recently. I just got to rank 5 on Iron Banner, so apparently I'm a PvP legend.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Does that make Angry a god? If you're a legend,
if I'm a legend, he is the golden Zeus. All right.
The big thing, like I said, I mean, is being aware of what to expect. I mean, if you can expect somebody and being able to know where to look. Okay, when you're in a you have to know where you're at an advantage and where you're at a disadvantage, and try to limit the moments, the times where you're at a disadvantage. And learn, and the big thing is learning those what those times are.
Yeah.
Where because there's definitely power positions within Destiny, and just learning what those are, and sometimes it just comes down to watching the people that are better than you, watching what they do. How did you die? How did they kill you? So you can learn, okay, so not to do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really all there's knowledge is really power. Also, in communication also can be really big. Is call outs. Okay, there's when you see somebody, because the radar will tell you general direction. You can get a pretty good idea where they are. But if you have a teammate calling exactly out where they are, and so you can plan in your head where to expect those shots to come from. So
yeah, I'm gonna shout out 2 different Destiny streamers that I do watch for PvP. One is Giggle Monster, and the other is Jay Scubby. I watch Scubby do Trials runs. It's hilarious, and he has a really good time with it. But at the same time, he's extremely skilled at it. That's his skill set, is PvP. Giggle Monster is a little bit more on the serious side, but he does the same thing. He does Trials runs, he does Iron Banner, and he's really skilled at PvP as well. So I'm going to shout those 2 guys out. If you guys do want to watch like the very top tier of PvP on Twitch, I recommend those 2. But that does end our Destiny podcast for this evening. It has been a special episode number 20 Destiny edition of the Loading Screen. We'll go ahead and go around the room. Tell us where you are, when you're there, and how we can find you there. We'll start with Monsterous Rage.
All right. Well, I am going to do this quickly while I talk about where I am found, because we're doing a good old thing called Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess this Friday. But I am a variety broadcaster. I broadcast on the Wii U, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and some PC, and I'm all across the board. So if you are looking for some random game to see, or maybe something that's come out that's new, chances are I'm going to be playing it, and that's what I do. You will see face rig up every once in a while, which is what I'm using right now, but you will see my lovely face too. I'm at Twitch TV/Monsterous Rage. I also do a thing with DeFitster on Friday nights podcast. We're actually going to be having Kadex on this week. All about adventure games. So, yes, we're going to be doing Twilight Princess. We're going to do a little Division. I'm all over the place. Find me there. That's where you can find me. All my information is there. If you need to get a hold of me, that's where I'll be.
Creepy. All right, Angry Iceberg.
All right, I am a daily Destiny streamer, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Even with the Division coming out, I will still continue to be a daily Destiny streamer. I'm going to relish at being at the top of the directory while everybody else is playing the Division. I mean, there might only be like 20 viewers in my channel, but damn it, I'm going to be the top. No, anyway, in all seriousness, yeah, I have no plans on playing.
Fourth.
Yeah, I'll definitely be continuing to play Destiny and anticipating the spring content drop. I do play PvP, but primarily play PvP and helping other players get through the raid content, as well as like whatever. I just do whatever, man. I mean, I'm not really like a raid helper guy. I'm not like a PvP helper guy. I just kind of do whatever, and I play with my viewers. That's my big thing. It's all about the community, all about the support, and just hanging out and chilling with friends and having a good time, good conversations, and laughing at my dumbass. You can find me again on twitch.tv/angry_iceberg. You can also find me on Twitter at twitter.com/angry_iceberg, on Facebook at facebook.com/theangryiceberg. Also, I have a YouTube channel, which you can find in the info panel of my channel. So head on over there for all of that. I do a weekly streamer feature I call Monday Night Rare. It's in the form of a podcast, which I've been uploading to YouTube. We didn't have ours this last week just simply because technical issues kind of came up and scheduling issues came up. But we'll be returning next week with another great episode as long as things don't happen again. And finally, I do right now, if you're watching this before March 13th, there is a Major Rager community t-shirt going on right now. It's the first official Angry Iceberg t-shirt that you can purchase. It's also in hoodie form, multiple colors, all that stuff. You can find it up on Teespring at teespring.com/angry_iceberg.
There you go. Go out and grab that t-shirt, guys. I'll probably be grabbing mine probably tomorrow, actually. I'll represent some iceberg. And
appreciate that, everybody.
And my name is Kadex Gaming, Twitch stream dedicated to helping you in game and in life. We just finished up our, what was that, third or fourth? Third Twitch Helping Twitch donation stream where we collected donations all month long. We gave that away to a random stream yesterday. It was actually a really fun experience. We have a lot of fun. I am a Destiny player, but I'm a Borderlands 2 One Life streamer. I do that in the afternoons, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/KDXGaming. And for KDX Gaming, Monsterous Rage, and Iceberg, this is the Living String, always helping you keep calm. Game on.
Bye!
Gotta will dance, dance, dance. Gotta will dance, dance, dance. Gotta will dance, 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 and peace.